Good morning, beautiful wives. We are here again for another Respect There from our Respect There 40 days to a deeper connection with God and your husband. All right, so today we are on there 35 and it's called The Context. The the verse is Proverbs 18:2, and it says, "A fool finds no place in understanding, but delights in airing his own opinions." So, um, in this there today, in this devotional today, the author tells us about this woman who just had a baby, right? And she's super busy with the baby. The baby's sick at home, and she's feeling overwhelmed. She finally gets a chance to, lay down on the sofa, catch up with her soap opera, whatnot, talk to her mom, laundry, whatever, right? And her husband calls her and he asks her to run the paperwork for their tax appointments to her, and she goes on and on to tell him how she's not going to do that, right? And while I'm reading this, I'm feeling this husband's pain, of doing everything he can, for the household, for her, for the baby, and yet not having that companionship that he desires, like that partnership that he desires, I I really I when I was reading this, it was almost like I was putting my husband in that place, because I know that my husband does so much for me, and for my kids, which are not his by blood, right? And I felt the pain as if it was my own husband in that place, and I have never lived a situation like this. I'm pretty good at doing what he asks me to do, but there has been plenty, that must have made him feel just like this man did, right? That he had no companion, that he had no partner, that, like that he was left as last in my priority list, right? It's not the case anymore, but as I was reading this, I could see my husband in this situation many times throughout our 16 years of doing life together. And it pains me, to know that at one point that's how I made my husband feel. You know, it pains me to know that I didn't learn before the things that I know now, right? But again, she invites us at the end to think about this statement: marriage is a context through which we have the opportunity to become more holy, not more happy, right? And holy is simply to be set apart, right? As wives, I think it's important for us to understand we have been set apart for marriage. We have been set apart for our husband. And there is no other relationship on the face of the planet Earth that will grow us more than our marriage, because I don't know that there is another human that will trigger us more than our husbands, and there is no other human who help us heal better than our husbands, so it's beautiful how we complete each other, how we complement each other. And if we allow God to truly work in our lives and through our lives, with our husbands, for our husbands, it's amazing, how much holier we become, and I don't know about you, but every time I become holier, meaning I become more I become more full in the calling that God has called me into, in the purpose that He has called me into, that brings me joy, that brings me happiness, you know. So, in essence, becoming holier is becoming happier, you know, because more and more, do we come in alignment with what God has prepared for us since the beginning of the earth, you know, and being a wife dedicated to our husbands, respectful to our husbands, is such a huge part of that, you know. And it's no wonder that this is the relationship in our lives that will touch all of our trigger points at some point or another, right? It's an opportunity for us to heal. It's an opportunity for us to become better, and it's an opportunity for us to become holier. So today is short. That's all I wanted to share. I truly encourage you to spend some time reflecting on that statement, and to spend some time really understanding how do you make your husband feel important, you know. How, what can you do to make him feel even more important going forward, right? And ask him, you know, if he feels important, if he feels more important than anything else in your life, you know. And ask him for some ideas on things you can do, because it might be something so simple that you know, it will take you 2 minutes to do. So why not, right? All right, girls. So this was it for today. I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.